Hello everyone, Chris Kyle here. So excited to share with you purpose block number 2 in my 3-video series of the 3 purpose blocks. Purpose block number 1 was the fear triad, so if you haven't seen that, just check out video number 1 right here on the page. And now we're going to dive into purpose block number 2, and that is the doubting voice. So purpose block number 2, this doubting voice may sound something like this, and let me give you a sense of my own doubting voice. We'll go like this. So really, you want to take that project on? Do you think you could do that? Do you have the time for that? It seems a little risky for you doing that. Do you really believe that you have something to share here? That your teaching is going to make a difference for anybody? And how about writing that book? Are you kidding me? You're not going to be able to do that. It's not going to sell. You don't even know what you want to say. And so all of those voices, they may continue on in some variation or variety of you can't do it, you're not enough, you're not talented, why would you want to do that? That seems too risky, unsafe. So the doubting voice we know as the inner critic. It's the inner gremlins that we have, the inner bullies, I like to say. And those inner bullies just kind of keep working on us. And sometimes we think that there are wise side or they have good information for us, and maybe in the past those voices helped us to stay safe or meet a challenge in a certain way. But in most cases, as we move further along in our life and choose to live a more embodied, purposeful life, that those are going to get in the way, that those voices are going to get in the way of us fully living our purpose. And so when these voices collide with our purpose discovery process, or with us trying to put our purpose more fully out into the world, that collision creates that block, that's the resistance piece. That's where we might come up against some of these voices and then step back away and not make the choice that we know is for our higher good. So we confuse it, we confuse the message. And so the mission of the doubting voice, and it's not an all bad mission, the mission of the doubting voice is to keep us safe, is to keep things in a container that's known. Like, I get this, I know how to handle this, rather than being in a place of unknown or trying something new. That's when our doubting voices come online a little bit more, when we're stretching ourselves, when we're reaching. And so how do we work with the doubting voice? How do we work with this inner critic, these inner bullies? So what I'm going to suggest is maybe a little counterintuitive, but the best way I've found to work with this doubting voice is to make friends with it. Yeah, to make friends with it. And the first best step in making friends with this doubting voice is to actually give your doubting voice a name. So it might be like Doubting Dude, or Cantankerous Kathy, or Mr. Doubter. Or you know what, you could even call it Frank, the doubting voice. So whatever the name is that you have for your doubting voice, it creates a little bit of separation. It brings lightness and humor and separation so that you can get some distance from it, that it's not kind of all-consuming or controlling you, but rather you begin to see, oh, it's just a voice running in my head. It's just a thought pattern that actually is not true in most cases. So once you've made friends with it at that level of just welcoming it in, and oh, there's Frank again, Frank chattering off again about how that's not going to work and unsafe. See, you already got a smile on your face. Now you get to have a conversation with Frank, with Doubting Dude. And this comes from voice dialogue, which is a process or a technique used by lots of therapists and coaches and used in the psychodynamic space. So it's you coming into some conversation with parts of yourself, with personalities of yourself. And so that first part of that conversation is important because it actually is an opportunity for you to check in to see if there is some wisdom or knowledge or information that you should know in this moment of encountering this doubting voice. So the first part of your conversation might look like this is, okay, Doubting Dude, is there anything that I need to know that's important here, or any wisdom for what you're saying that is important for me to make sure I'm actually safe, physically safe, or even emotionally safe? Is there something I need to get here? And if you just pause and listen and wait, it's amazing how the mind works. Is there may be actually some insight that comes up, a kernel of truth that says, yeah, there is something to watch here or to be concerned about or to notice. However, most of the time, the voice is just a random negative voice to keep you from doing something that feels unsafe to your ego, to this doubting voice side of you. So the next step of this conversation, after you've asked that, and let's say you've gotten nothing back, it's pretty clear it's just this old script running, then you would say something like this, like, okay, Frank, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. I know in the past you may have done that to keep me safe, and that might have been appropriate way back in my life, but I don't need you now. I'm fine, I'm safe, there's nothing that's going to happen to me now, and so thank you for sharing, and time for you to go. Bye. And you literally tell Frank to leave and tell that voice to leave. And interestingly enough, just having a very simple humorous dialogue breaks the spell and opens you up for this next step, which is that now you can make a new choice. And now you can choose some different step or even a different way of thinking in that moment that's more positive or empowering. So this is where self-talk comes in. And it's an important piece of our healthy ego and our healthy minds, is that we begin to have a positive self-talk to counterbalance the negative chatter that does always happen. And from that place, from this new positive place, we're able to make more empowering choices, more toward our purpose, or more toward living with greater meaning, greater happiness. So that's working with the doubting voice. I sure hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for purpose block number 3, which is the distraction vortex. And I also encourage you to join me and hundreds of people from around the world that will be part of the Man on Purpose course, a 7-week online course starting November 1st. So you can find more information here right on the page, and we hope to see you in the course. Thanks.